What's new, 802? This is Becca Hammond, and you're listening to Burlington Talks. The Burlington Talks podcast may include graphic or explicit content. Listener discretion is advised. I'm so excited to be joined with Allison Krasner, Amaal Abdelrahman, Elise Albertini, and Max Mashrick. Together they are Lake Waves, the Vermont extra tall blue-green Lake Waves, or just Lake Waves for short. A soft indie, punk, and folk rock band out of Burlington, Vermont. The band has been together since early 2018. Woohoo! Thanks for being on the show, everybody! Can you tell me your name and the instrument you play and how long you've been in Burlington?
Yes, my name's Allison Krasner. I play bass, and I've been in Burlington for, I think, 4, 5, 7 years now.
My name is Amaal Abdelrahman, and I play bass and vocals.
You don't play bass, dude.
Oh my gosh.
You want to? You can.
She plays bass in her mind.
Bass is really cool. I play bass, so I mean, everyone should.
It's been such a long week. I'm sorry. I play guitar and vocals, and I've been in Burlington. God, I want to say for 7 years. I'd say so.
I'm Max Mashrick. I've been in... What are you laughing at?
Never heard you pronounce your last name that way.
Mashrick.
It was like Mashrick.
With a J.
Sorry, okay.
Anyways.
Keep going.
Was that magic?
That would be a better last
Max.
name.
Sorry, you can start that all
No, you're
over
good.
again.
I say it that way because I think it sounds nicer than Mashrick. Mashrick.
Be true to yourself.
That is... Anyways. I've lived in Vermont my whole life, and I've lived in Burlington for about 6 or 7 years.
My name is Elise Albertini, and I've lived in Burlington for 4 years. Oh, and I'm also the drummer.
I forgot to say what I play. I play guitar and bass.
Whoa.
Sometimes.
I don't play
Some songs.
Okay, so you play bass and you play bass?
So I play bass, and then sometimes we switch, and I'll play guitar for
We
a
do
song
the
or
old
two.
switcheroo
Yeah.
on a couple songs. It tends to be the songs that Allie writes. She just plays the guitar because she wrote the guitar part. And so I'll play the bass.
All right, so can you tell me when the idea for Lake Waves came to your minds?
Well, Allie and Amaal and I would always be running into each other at parties throughout college and afterwards sometimes as well. We'd always talk about playing music together. And eventually we were just like, we should just pull the trigger and do this. So we got together, and it kind of pretty soon after, our first 2 meetings or whatever, we really kind of hit it off musically, I think. And
Yeah, I want to say it happened super serendipitously of we were at a party, and then we had been talking, and I think Elise was at the same party too, upstairs. I remember this was at Rat House or something.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And you had said oh, Elise is here, and in my head I'm like, Elise, drummer, go. And
I'm pretty sure we were at this party at Rat House, and you were playing with Father Figure, and we'd all been drinking a little bit, and then I was like, Elise, come play drums for us, and then you're like, yeah, sure, but then the next day we're like, no, really,
actually,
we're gonna play
stick with
drums for us, and I think, so it started off the 3 of us, so Amaal, Max, and myself, and then we're like, we really need a drummer, and be like, Elise would be great.
Yeah.
But that was in 20, I think the spring of 2018 is when we started really seriously thinking about it.
Yeah.
But Max and I knew Amaal. She is a great singer-songwriter, and her own solo act too. And so I think Max and I have been playing music, and then we were we need Amaal to come in, and it would be great to work with her.
Yeah, because I knew you guys all as friends too, but also as musicians, going to Furious open mics or just at parties too. Someone would break out a guitar, we'll start doing open mics. We all knew each other as musicians, and I think it finally clicked we could do this together. And yeah, it's been great ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys definitely sounded awesome. I got to check you out about a month ago at the guardhouse, and it was sweet. I didn't get to check your whole set out, which I feel bad about, but I did. I think I heard
sweat it.
one or two of your original songs, and they were dope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you guys are great. Singer-songwriter? Any other singer-songwriters in the group?
Actually, no. I mean, unless people are hiding things from each other that we don't know about.
Not like established. Like, I mean, I feel like I would always like kind of write my own stuff, but I never like got to the point of like performing around Burlington like Amaal.
I would say loosely established. I mean, like, I definitely started like within the DIY scene here in Burlington, and so like happened to know our friend Haley that was like running Rat House, which is, if people don't know, was a phenomenal like DIY spot in the Old North End that closed earlier this year, and started playing shows there and kind of doing some other stuff. But I don't know, I think like I've always been like in town. I've always been playing like music and was a musician. I went to school in Colchester High School and was started at the very end of my senior year. Was able to play like a gig at Higher Ground as a showcase in the band that I was in, and so was always doing my own solo thing, but wanted like so much to be a part of a bigger act. And so when this kind of came together, it felt really natural, and it felt like the next progression into what I wanted to do as a musician.
Very cool.
Yeah, you got like a following in like Libya or something, right? Or where is it? That's
no,
like...
dude. So like just today too. So back in like 2015, please don't search this, but I like released a really bad like demo that's on Spotify and on like iTunes. It's not good.
It's good.
And no, it's not.
I'm sure it's good.
But like I have one cover that's a Codaline song, and like Codaline's a great band, but like this was like, it was like a very rough recording, and it's got like, I want to say like 50,000 listens on Spotify, which is pretty cool. And I'm not saying that to like hype myself up, but like if you look at like the demographic, it's everywhere but the United States, which is really cool. Like it's pretty sweet. Yeah.
Everyone's gonna look that up now.
I know.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's actually going to be in the links.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the links.
No.
It definitely will be.
No.
Okay, singer-songwriter. I didn't ask how long you've been playing your instruments yet. Go.
So I started playing bass for this band. So I grew up playing classical piano most of my life, and then played guitar, just like very basic guitar. And then I feel like lost it a little bit in college, and then kind of picked guitar back up. But then when we were playing in this band, it was like, okay, Amaal plays guitar, like Max plays lead guitar, and I could in no way ever play lead guitar. So we were kind of like, we need a bassist. So I was like, that will be me. And that's how it happened. So I guess like 2 years, maybe-ish.
Yeah, I've been playing guitar since I was, I want to say like 12 or 13. Very like minimal self-taught, like teaching myself Taylor Swift songs, that kind of thing. But I've always been like a singer and doing like chorus and that sort of thing. And then that just evolved into like writing my own songs and that whole thing.
Yeah, I was about the same age when I picked up the guitar. I think, well, actually I started on bass when I was like probably in 6th grade, like 11 years old. And then quickly was like, I should play guitar too. And yeah, I didn't really start writing stuff until much later, like in my late teens, early 20s probably.
Yeah, I've been playing the drums since I was in elementary school, I think like 5th grade or whatever year after the recorder thing. So we had to play a recorder. I think it's actually, we had to play a recorder in 4th grade, and then in 5th and 6th grade we got to play like whatever we wanted. So I'd play the drums since then. But I like started playing the guitar when I was like 5. So I've been playing like ever since, but I would in no way consider myself a guitarist. I sort of just like to write riffs and things, and sometimes we use them in my other band, but that's sort of the limit, like the end of my songwriting abilities. But yeah, drums and percussion. I played like in all like the school bands, concert band, and whatever else, like marching band and pep band and everything. So I've played pretty much everything. But yeah, drum set's pretty much my forte, I think.
Awesome. Lots of longtime musicians. Even if you've only been playing bass 2 years, if you've been playing classical piano, you know the bass clef and you're close enough.
I feel like piano's one of those instruments. It's like a great one to learn because then
It's a gateway drug.
It's a gateway instrument. It's true though. It's kind of, I feel like once you can feel comfortable with piano, it's a little easier maybe to branch out.
I wish I could play piano.
I was gonna say, feel free if you want to talk, go ahead. Like it's your show. It's about you guys, not me. The less I have to speak, the better. I love the band name. Is there any sort of story, or is it just like that would be a cool name?
That was Max, that was your idea, right?
Yeah, I guess it kind of was my idea. I don't want to take all the credit because you all supported my idea, but yeah, it was kind of like, oh. This is actually a really good story. I just remembered where I saw it for the first time. So, you know all those memes where it's like fake Coachella posters and it's like says like some ridiculous bands are headlining. It's like, or it doesn't even have to be bands. It's like comedians, like stuff like that. And I saw this one that was like all these fake band names. And one was Lake Waves. I was like, well, that's kind of a good name for a band in Burlington because you have Lake Champlain right there, and it's kind of like a small place where there's a really bustling music scene, you know? So it's kind of like, you think of Waves as being like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just so like monumental and like movement and big. And so when you put, you know, I'm not explaining myself very well. I'm not explaining myself very well.
Tidal waves are big.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of the idea. It's like, you think of waves being in the ocean.
Yeah.
Am I painting a good picture here? Probably not.
Well, no, I remember one thing that you said that I really liked is like, you wouldn't really assume that at a lake you have waves because you always like associate like waves with like an ocean or seas that are like really big and like big.
Big. Much in the same way that you wouldn't expect a small college town to have such great music, maybe. I mean, maybe you would, but that's the idea that I was trying to explain a minute ago, and it did not come across whatsoever.
It makes sense, though. And the music, you also have sound waves with the lake
right.
waves and powerful waves. I get it. I'm feeling it. It makes sense.
Isn't that like on our and I can like pull it up too, like on our Facebook page, it's longer, the tall blue green.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I kind of did that as like mostly a joke.
No, but like it's official now. So.
I did read it and I wasn't sure, and it was long enough that I was like, I'm not sure.
No. Now we have to like pull up the receipts.
I think it's kind of funny. Like the whole name started like as a bit of a joke, but then it progressed and they're like, oh, this is like kind of cool and like actually, or maybe it's not cool, but at least it like could fit us. So.
Our official title is the Vermont Extra Tall Blue-Green Lake Waves, or just Lake Waves for short.
Extra tall. See, big. I get it. It was originally a name.
It's an important aspect of the wave.
Yeah, there's some guy at Radio Bean who's just like telling a story about lake waves when we were playing their birthday, their 19th birthday.
That was Lee Anderson, who I don't remember what his story was. But.
Neither do I, but it was epic. He like really got the people going with that one, and we were like,
nice.
Damn, okay. I guess
like
that's
10 a.m.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I think I just got an email from him today that he wants to be on the show, but he's super busy for a month or two.
Oh yeah, you should definitely have him. He's
awesome.
A good guy.
I've had I think I've had 4 people tell me that I need to get the owner of Radio Bean and the Lamp Shop on this show, and I'm so excited. I've never been there, and everyone's going to be so mad. I've walked by it, and it's always packed when I walk by, and I'm like, well, guess I'm not gonna do that today.
I feel like
we can put a little plug in. We have a show at Radio Bean this weekend. Well, by the time
this comes out, the show will have already happened.
Oh no!
Yeah.
But
you can still enjoy it if you want.
Build a time machine and come back to Saturday, December 14th
at 10 p.m.
At 10 p.m.
Use your brain waves to.
Yes.
That's a funny one because it's in the future now, but it's going to be in the past on Tuesday.
Not unlike lake waves. Brainwaves.
Brainwaves. Another whole facet to this name.
We got a lot going on.
It
just
means
like
a
2
lot.
words.
True. Radio Bean's where we played our first show outside of a basement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Facts,
And I really, that's the place that I first went that made me realize what I was just talking about, how Burlington has such a great music scene. I went there when I was like a freshman in college, and my friend had asked me to come to this show with her, and I was like, oh, that sounds really fun. Let's go. And we saw this band. It was a 3-piece band. And the singer was like playing an electric mandolin, and she was singing into a microphone that was a telephone. Like, it was a telephone that had been turned into a microphone. I was like, what is this? This is amazing. And after the show, I was like first of all, that band was And the Kids, which they've actually kind of got a following now. They're from Northampton, Massachusetts. Check them out. They're great. But after the show, I was like, to my friend, I said, that was really great. Thanks so much for inviting me. And she's like, oh, that's not even the band we were here to see. And we stayed for the next show. It was another great band. Not quite as memorable as And the Kids, but still excellent. Very fun night. And I've been going to Radio Bean ever since. So it's kind of like, it's like the heart of the Burlington indie rock scene.
I feel like
I
of
think.
all of the more like, I don't know, more like well-known venues in town, that Radio Bean really does a great job of bringing local, like not only like out of state bands or touring bands, but really is amazing at showcasing like our local talent, and not just like one genre, whether it be like what we do is like, I guess this like the indie rock kind of sound we have, but like metal and the singer-songwriter, and like at I wish I could catch the name, but at the birthday bash they had this awesome group that played before us, which was a duo of an accordion. They do like the hand motion, an accordion and an upright bass playing, I think like Bulgarian, like some Eastern European like thing, and they were awesome. So it's just like they're bringing in all of these different genres from people that we're all like in the same community, and it's great to see the talent and the diversity of sound that we have, and Radio Bean's definitely a spot for it.
Yeah, and the guy before that too was he was reciting like the Odyssey or some shit, and he had like a mini log and like just some like sampler, and was just like doing some crazy stuff. And like, mind you, we played at like 10 a.m. So it was like a lot for 10 a.m. But it was
people
like
were still ready to go on that. Like, this is what I was talking about Radio Bean too. Like, even we were playing at 10 a.m. and so many people were still there. Like, it was such a cool day.
A lot of friends from other bands too. A lot of musicians were there.
Remember Jessie Taylor, who's been on this podcast? Like, she was there for our set, and she's great.
Steve Yardley from the Pyros was there, as well as Alex and Evan Rain.
Uriah Hackney was there.
Uriah Hackney from Rough Francis showed up.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the best things like about Burlington in general with the music scene, is like everybody is so supportive of each other, and it's like whether you're just starting out or you've been playing in the area for a long time, like everybody will come out, and it's also like people don't like bash each other, like it's only supportive, which is really cool.
Yeah, very well connected, I'd say.
Absolutely.
So, musical inspirations. Let's hear them.
Oh my god.
You can only list, I'm going to limit you because I know some people can be like rambling off for 20 minutes.
I'm considering rambling, even though you gave me a limit.
Try and keep it to like 3 to 5.
5.
Okay.
got it.
I would say always Stevie Nicks for me, like Stevie Nicks forever.
I could hear that in your band as soon as you said that.
What a compliment.
Yes.
My heart is so warm right now. That's awesome.
We might put that in our bio. I can hear Stevie Nicks in your band.
That makes us really happy.
Reminiscent of Stevie Nicks.
But I feel like, at least for me, like Stevie Nicks, and then also Lady Lamb or Ali Paltrow, who what? Spaltro, not Paltrow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Terrible. But Lady Lamb in general, I mean, I think also, at least for me, like Lady Lamb, like in college, was such a huge like part of my life. If anybody hasn't checked her out, you should. But that was like something that really brought our friend group together. I think is like we used to all like cover Lady Lamb songs, and we'd like have parties, and like we would just play Lady Lamb songs together, and like everybody would sing along, and it was really fun. And I feel like that and like her, like the emotional depth of all of her music, like really inspired me to kind of write the songs that I do.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And I think, like you said, that's how we've like connected. Was I like one of the first songs we ever covered was "You're the Apple," which is one of like I think one of her best. Such a good song, and she does such a good job at like. And something that I try and do in my writing is like write in a way that's like very specific and using like things that have happened to you in a way to describe something that's a lot bigger and a lot like bigger than who you are, and is trying to connect to, you know, a collective experience. And I think she does a really good job at that. And I really admire that of her as a writer and a musician. I don't know. I find myself like feeling really inspired, at least like right now. I think this indie scene, I put that in like quotes of like really strong like female led bands of like I listen to a lot of Lucy Dacus and Phoebe Bridgers, and obviously I have to like plug like another like local Burlington band of Clever Girls, who I'm just so inspired by them and the sound that they do. And they are phenomenal. And
you just got to play with them.
We did just get to play, which that was like that was
kind of like a big moment for us, I feel.
Yeah, that was a really big deal to be up on that stage and know that they're listening. I don't know. That was like a try not to fangirl when I was there, but I totally was like shaking in my boots a little bit.
Quaking.
They're so nice though. Like they didn't make us.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like so intimidated so much, but you know, it was just such an honor that they invited us to play with them for sure.
Definitely.
I remember the first time that I actually like personally met Diane, because Father Figure had played a couple of shows with them I think before, but I had never actually like talked to Diane personally. And I remember the very first time I like introduced myself, I was like drunk as hell at like Foam, and I bought a record, and I was like, you know, this is like so sick. Like, and this was they're not Remember Pluto. This was like a couple of years ago, so this was their other record.
This is Luck.
Luck, yeah. And I like was up there, and I was just like, what's your Venmo? Like, I'm just like, this is so awesome. And ever since then, I've been just trying to be like normal around Diane, because I feel like that impression was sort of dicey. I was like a sophomore in college, just like freaking out.
She probably would. Now we're gonna go on this sidetrack of how much we all love Clever Girls, but I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the first time, so it was they opened her group Love at Higher Ground a few years back.
I can't believe I missed that show.
It was so awesome.
Oh
and I remember, I do not think Diane would remember this, but I remember like going up to the merch table after, and I was like literally had no money, like no cash whatsoever, but I was like, you're so amazing, like all this. And she was like so kind. I was like, here, take stickers, like don't even worry about it. And like from that moment on, I was just like, oh my goodness, they're just amazing.
And mullet's banging.
Yeah.
They're a really like genuine, down to earth person. And I remember seeing Clever Girls open up for Lucy Dacus. I think this was last summer, over at Arts Riot, and I was able to speak to Diane after their set, and I think we both had this like collective, like it was very like emotional. Like their set was amazing. It was my first time. Like I've heard so much about Clever Girls, and like who is this band that's like really poppin', and like everyone seems to like be totally like in love with their sound and what they're doing, and being able to see them live is like, oh my god, these guys are so like, these folks are so special and like what they're doing. And I don't know, it was really special to be able to talk to Diane afterwards and kind of just try and not be like totally obsessed and be like, your set was really cool and I'm really emotional right now, but
it's fine if you were like
I totally was, and since then they've just been awesome, and it's been so great to get to know them a bit more. Yeah.
Keeping with the locals, Allie knows what I'm about to say, but one of my favorite bands ever, like not just out of local bands, but like bands, was Bison. I don't know if anybody, you must remember Bison, but
don't we?
They were like the best. Like, I don't know.
Are they not together anymore?
No, they're not.
Sad.
Charlie Hill, Casey Dressing, and Fabian. I don't even know how to say Fabian's last name, actually. But
can I go on like a nice quick side story about me and Fabian real quick?
Yeah, do it.
Oh my God. So we played the Java Barn at St. Lawrence University a couple years ago. Maybe last year. I don't know. Whatever. And I wasn't 21 yet. And Fabian was like, yo, like, let's go get beer. I was like, sick, I can drive. Yeah, let's do that. So we went like across the street to like the Sunoco. And I went in with him, which was already like the first strike, you know. I went in and he bought like 230 racks, and I was like standing behind him. I don't know what the fuck I thought I was doing. I was just there, and the guy is like, "Where's your ID?" And I show him my real ID. I don't have a fake. I never had a fake. And so I show him my actual ID, very obviously under 21. He looks at it. He's like, yeah, good to go. We pack it up. We drive back over to SLU. I was like, dude, what? This is so sick. Like, iconic. Because Fabian was like, dude, what is wrong with you? You're not 21. I was like, yeah. But he was like, all right, sick. I mean, it worked. You know, I feel like it was just the innocence really just...
This guy's just like,
he was like,
this girl's so sweet. I just am going to give her license back and sell them
he
beer.
Straight up was like, fuck it.
Though.
He just was like, fuck it, dude. Like, she's going to walk in here with like no fake, just that real ID saying she's straight up 19. That's fair. You know what? I respect that.
Takes some serious courage.
It's really ballsy. You're just really dumb.
But
I
give no fucks. I'm just gonna do it and see what happens.
Yeah, and so that was my only interaction with Fabian after that. just that.
Bison #. Yeah, they're really good. Really sad that they're done.
I will say, I think Max knows how to like play every Bison song.
Don't. Somebody might. Well, actually, so I was actually in a band with Casey Dressing afterwards for like a brief period. I was in the band Trackstar with him, and so that was kind of like a really funny moment where I was like the biggest fan of Bison, and then all of a sudden I'm playing with Casey from Bison. And one time we practiced, and he was like, "Hey Max, play your favorite Bison song." I was like,
I'm
okay.
so ready.
I was
so
like,
ready.
Been waiting
I've
for
been
this
planning.
moment my whole life. Pick up the bass, and he's like, that's a good one, but I don't know how Fabian plays the drums on that one. Anyways, Bison locally, great, fantastic. But as far as like influences go, beforehand, when I was younger, I was really into Weezer. They were like one of my favorite bands from age like 13 until like 24, which is how old I am right now.
There is a Weezer Snuggie.
Zebra print.
Zebra print.
At my house. Thing. Yeah, pretty great.
Nice.
What else? But as of late, I've been really into like Kurt Vile. What else? Big Thief. Did you mention Big Thief earlier?
No, but I will mention. Big Thief is like all of like Adrian. Talk about like another like writer that uses these like intimate moments in her life to like convey a like much broader like view in existence. I guess I like could say like Adrian Linker like as a songwriter is incredible, and like I was able to see Big Thief. I want to say a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago, at Higher Ground, and that was a pretty. Like as a musician, pretty life-changing show to be able to see like a band work so cohesively and like so connected in a way that isn't like a machine and that like everyone is rigid. Like they just like work so well together and they play so well together. And
that's what I liked about their most recent album was like it sounded so natural.
Yeah,
it sounded so like unprocessed, but still so big and put together and like just so raw in the best way possible.
Yeah,
you know. So yeah, I've been listening to that album a lot. What else? Sandy Alex G, big fan. Yeah, another great songwriter.
Yeah,
that's like everybody that comes to mind right off the bat.
Yeah, I've always been sort of bad at this question because I like everything. And it always changes all the time. And somebody asks you, like, what's your favorite song? I'm like, I don't know. Even though I have, like, many favorite bands as well. Inspiration-wise, music-wise, though, I feel like The front bottoms, for sure.
Hell yeah.
For sure, the
Yeah.
front bottoms. Just everything about them. I think Foxygen as well. Foxygen is very cool. And as a, aspiring sound engineer, Jonathan Rado in Foxygen is just an icon. Someone who I would very much like to just like be in the same room with him for like 10 minutes just to like see like what he's doing, mixing. Just very, very cool.
Is he like a well-known producer too?
Not really. He's so talented though. Like I think he's like sought after for very certain people for like a specific sound.
I was gonna say I thought I saw like a video of him in a studio saying how he like mixed things or something.
Yeah, he's cool. He's been I don't know, on the list for a while.
So audio engineering, is that like a hobby for you, or is that something you want to do professionally?
Well, my major, I actually just graduated. My major is and was music business and technology. So I have spent a lot of time, at school and outside of school working on things like that, working on projects. And I have interned at Higher Ground, at Arts Riot, and other places. So I've sort of have a little bit of experience with that. So I don't know. I hope to do that someday. We'll see. It's a tough world to get into, I think, but we'll see.
Have you recorded the band at all yet?
We have, yeah. We actually
Nice.
just did it. But we did some songs the other day on a 4-track. We have a little cassette recorder we did it on, which was kind of cool. So I've been sort of working on mixing that, at home, sort of in my own way. But yeah.
We were saying we were shooting to put that out hopefully in like February. Is that what you said?
Yeah. I was thinking like a soft release around Valentine's Day, maybe.
Yep.
I'm thinking.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, soft release.
It might be much later
Very
than that.
Gentle with the release,
Gentle
but
with the
Could
release.
be April, May, June.
I'm not that far. It's not that
August.
long. I don't think we have
No.
I think our songs honestly as a band just sound really good on their own. Like we don't use a lot of ambient noise and a lot of like samples or anything like that. And I think that the way it sounds naturally is pretty accurate to the way we want it to sound anyway. But I haven't gotten that far yet to sort of show everybody the mixes that I've got. But I feel like that's the vibe everyone's going for. So it shouldn't take too long to get it all nailed down. We're also trying to be an act at Waking Windows, hopefully. Cross our fingers. Trying to get some songs done for that, for the submissions. So
we kind of realized we recorded. So I think within the first 2 months that we all played together, we put 2 recordings on our Bandcamp, which we did in Max's parents' basement of just let's just record this and see what happens.
yeah.
It was mostly we needed something to show people to get shows
Yeah.
and everything. So
Right.
I mean they're decent. I mean
Yeah.
they sound good.
Even some of the songs themselves, though, we slightly changed after those. And so I
Yeah.
think it was we started realizing, because people would be like, oh, do you have a link to, whatever? And we'd be at a show, be like, well, we have 2 songs on there, but they don't even necessarily sound the same as they do now. So
Right.
it's going to be
Right.
cool to have something to show everybody that's a little more representative of where we're at now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can I say one more musician that I
Yeah,
didn't?
No.
I'm
kidding.
going to. Kind of piggyback Stevie Nicks. I like to think that at least for myself as a songwriter, that Joni Mitchell is kind of my number one. I don't want to be a broken record, but her sound and the way that she evolved as a musician is beyond inspiring, and she's someone that I like to think that I hold in my heart when I'm doing when we're writing and we're playing, and yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I also wanted to add one quick thing too that's sort of irrelevant to the music inspiration, but it's along the same topic because of the whole Lady Lamb thing. Actually, Max and Allie lived in a program at UVM that I also lived in a couple years after. So I obviously, like I said, just graduated, but I think they graduated a couple years ago. So I didn't actually live with them, but I lived in the same program as them. So we all sort of met that way. And I don't know if Amaal was. Are you in CAD as well, or are you something else?
I wasn't, but I went to the Furious almost every for
Yeah.
my junior year was there, like, or like maybe sophomore year was there, like every single time that there was one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I remember us like going through all the submissions and us being like, because Haley, as we mentioned earlier too, Haley also was in CAD, and she, you know, was friends with Amaal too, and so I feel like we all sort of are connected that way through that program at UVM, Community for Artistic Development, which I don't think exists anymore.
No.
That's a bummer.
I think it died. Yeah.
Oh, speaking, I saw Ann Barlow like
Dude,
2 days ago.
Bless up. I think our Wi-Fi password at my old apartment is Ann Barlow 420, by the way. So if anybody goes to my old apartment,
Next time I see her.
Ann Barlow 420.
She was like one of the directors. So there's like a living and learning environment at UVM, but just, I know we keep going so off track. I'm sorry, but
I feel like it's essential for like the roots of the band, though, because this is just like really how it happened.
I think this is a really cool story to share too. So my freshman year in college, so living and learning at UVM, like there's different communities that you can like apply to join. And there was a program, Community for Artistic Development, and one of their whole things, it was started by a group of friends who they used to put on what they called the Furious Constable in their dorm rooms the previous year. And it was like a time that they just had people come in, and it would be like poetry or music or showcasing art. And people would literally like cram into this little dorm room, and they would like showcase their art, and like people were just like drinking wine and like hanging out and like supporting each other. So they created like a community about it. So I lived there my freshman year. Max lived in what was Guitar House his freshman year. But then CAD, Community for Artistic Development, kept going for a few years, and we kept having this like Furious Console. And that's like actually I think where we all like first really met. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Was like this thing that kind of just kept going. And like even though the original people, it definitely evolved from what they like initially kind of started it as. But I mean, up until CAD ended, like people were still doing it, and like new people that like I didn't necessarily know, they were like, oh, Furious Console is so great. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like people are still doing this. And
to bring Lady Lamb, Allie, if you're listening to this, which you probably aren't, but that would be sweet. I think the first time I had met, maybe like we had met like in passing and like at a show, but I think the first time that I really like met Max and Allie was at a Furious, and you guys covered Sunday Shoes. And I remember like, who are these people? And I need to get to know them more, because I was like really aching to be like in a group. I have like a group of friends that were also musicians, because I've always been like the musician within my friend group, and not so much like a part of like a group of friends or a group of community that are also musicians. And that like makes such a big difference, I think. So that's like another like Lady Lamb kind of sprinkle in there. And I think like the Furious, at least for myself, was where I really felt I was finding myself getting comfortable after being in college and getting to know people in after, I should say, high school, and then getting to know people in college, like found my community of people that were supportive of other artists and other creative people. And it was a really, really sweet spot to be in.
Yeah, and it all really came full circle too. I think one of the last Furiouses that actually happened, like the official one. So we did Furious every Friday or every other Friday or something in the dorms, but we would hold like a Furious Festival, which is in April. It was like a big event just showcasing like everything, and like it was around like the whole UVM like circle, like by the basketball courts and stuff, and it was just huge. And I remember I had met Tim Cece at Higher Ground, and he introduced me to Jay Bingoy, another local band, and Charlie Hill is in Jay Bingoy, and Charlie Hill, coincidentally, is one of the founding members of CAD. So I remember booking that Furious Festival and being like, let's get Jay Bingoy back here. Like, that'd be so freaking sick. Like, you know, we can make that happen. And it was actually really cool to have them back, because, you know, it was, you know, Charlie's doing and other people that got Furious going. So he, you know, gave it one last go. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Charlie was also in Bison.
Charlie was, as noted before, Charlie was also in Bison.
He's kind of a legend at this point.
He's a legend.
Number
one on my heart.
I guess, never mind. Sorry.
Chazzy Lake.
Yep, solo act now. Really good stuff.
In the area?
I think Charlie lives in NYC now.
No,
big
that's
city.
Not Burlington.
It's not, but
Boo.
he's a
Homeboy
great guy.
got his roots, though. He had a bunch of shows as Chazzy Lake here before he left.
Yeah,
though,
absolutely.
So like,
yeah. Actually, Trackstar did a show with him one time, too.
there you go.
Nice.
That was fun. And Couch Sleepers, who we're playing with on Saturday, was also playing
Couch
at that
Sleepers
show.
are
Yeah.
Iconic band as well.
I just had something that was decent. I have bad short-term memory. I smoke a lot of pot.
That's reasonable.
That's illegal.
No, it's not.
Oh my
It's
God.
No.
Actually, no, I shouldn't share that story. Oh my
Yes, you
God.
should.
I heard some like major tea in my apartment. So I'm not gonna name any actual names, but this situation is like iconic. So I got a plug from somebody I work with, like to buy weed from. And I was like, okay, sick. So I like went over to his house and bought the weed, and all was well. And then tonight I heard one of my roommates, talking like just about a bad hookup or something. And she was like, yeah, it's this guy who like, he works in the store with you. And I was like, I don't think I know him, but maybe. And he was like, yeah, he lives, at this location. And I was like, oh my God, you fucked the guy that I just bought weed from. What? Or like, what? It was so strange. I was just like, I'd never heard her talk about him before. So I was just like, okay, okay. I mean, I'm still gonna buy weed from him, but she's like, no, don't. Yeah, I was like, no, there's like everything's interconnected. I swear, like
Burlington's too.
It's too
small.
close. It's too small. I was
goddamn
like,
small.
I am triggered now, but it's okay. It's fine. I'm still gonna buy weed.
Elise, you're so hardcore, like buying marijuana,
Buying underage beer,
rock and roll.
Yep.
The ultimate
What is
icon.
this?
Yeah.
Oh man. I do cut the blank spaces if they're long, so that it probably seems funny when I'm staring at this piece of paper.
Everyone
okay.
just stopped talking for like 10 minutes.
Sorry, we got on such
Moment
tangents
of
too.
silence.
No, that was nice. That felt like a good tangent.
Little
They're
combo.
great tangents. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about the roots of the band. You guys talked so much. It's all so good. I might have to have you back on the show so we can talk about other things.
Ooh.
Because we're at 44 minutes already.
No
Oh,
kidding.
wow.
Which is crazy.
Didn't feel like 44
it
minutes.
didn't,
No.
because you guys are awesome and that just flowed so awesomely. But is there anything else that you guys want to talk about? Because it's your show, so... Want to plug events? Do you want to share contact details? Do you want to... I don't know. What else you might want to do as a band?
Well, we have our show coming up this Saturday, which if you're not there, you're not there because this is coming out after that show. But we will have more shows in the future. In fact, we can announce it on this podcast. We're playing 126. That is January 26th, 2020. First show of the new decade at Monkey House with a band from Philadelphia called Endling, which we just found out about like maybe yesterday.
2 nights ago, yeah.
2 nights ago yesterday. So that's really exciting. And we will be having some recordings come out in the near future.
And
Keep an eye out for those.
hopefully with that recording, I think the plan is to also do like a nice like release party show
Yeah.
type. So that'll be happening.
A soft
Subsequent-
release.
a
party.
very, very soft.
Very gentle.
There's going to be
Gentle
lots of
everywhere.
pillows.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We
Everyone
might
bring your own
We
pillow.
might just do it acoustic.
Everyone
We
wear
might
your
just not even
pajamas.
play.
Nice.
We might just
Relax.
put on
Super
some
cozy.
ambient.
You might do it in this living room. Who knows?
True.
Might
Yeah.
just be the four of us.
Yeah, probably. More likely than not.
Yeah. I feel like we were going to try and like, we've been saying it forever, but like maybe try and get some photos done. Maybe try and do like a
Yeah.
video or something. Those things just like take time, and it's like if you forget about it, the thought is gone, and then
Right.
it's not there until you think about it again. So maybe like nail down some of those types of things too. But yeah, I feel like it's really just up and up from here.
Yeah,
I feel like
hopefully
we've like
new
made
tunes too.
new tunes. I feel like we've made so much progress. Like every single practice, it seems like we sort of have some new idea for a new song or something, and like the direction is like, very inspiring, especially like for me too, as somebody who plays in another band and a very different style band than this. I feel like this is a very
Father
like,
Figure.
yes, Father
She's
I was
Figure.
going to
And it's
say, go
amazing.
plug it.
I will
But yeah,
plug
yeah.
Father Figure. They're fucking awesome.
Yes, I drum in the
So
band
cool.
called Father Figure, and yes, but yeah, like there's very different stylistically. The type of music is just very different, and I feel like it's nice to play something different every once in a while. Because I feel like Father Figure was my main focus for a long time, and it's still a big focus in my life, but I think Lakeways is also a very big focus, and it's like nice to divvy up the attention to two different things instead of getting too tunnel vision on one thing. And it's like as I said before, like Foxygen and like Front Bottoms are like some of my biggest influences. I feel like we sort of channel some of those vibes, and Lake Waves too, which is really cool to like play that type of music. So
right.
Yeah.
I did remember I was going to ask you guys, how often do you play normally?
Depends.
Like practice.
Practice, yeah. I think it varies depending, what we've all got going on. I think
it can be kind of sporadic.
Maybe
we used to have like a real schedule. It was like every Sunday or like every whatever. It used to be like,
we tried for a bit, and I think it kind of, at least I would say like once every maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We try to do more, and like before a show, of course we do. And I think when we really sit down and we like have new ideas for new songs too, like we'll definitely try to like schedule more so we can work those new songs out. But yeah.
Yeah. And I think like another thing that would be great, hopefully for the future, is to get like a designated practice spot too. That's like something that we like hold as like and can make our own. I think right now we're practicing. We've practiced in Max's parents' basement before in Essex. Right now we're practicing at Elise's spot, right up the road from here in Burlington. But I can kind of envision like a designated practice spot where we can like come to like work on like stuff and practice and
Right.
Make a bit more like this is our space as a band. That would be a really nice goal to work towards.
I just got myself a little room at the guardhouse. It's a little hard with the podcast because the bands play after 7. So I have to record before 7, which for a lot of people, they're busy during the day.
Yeah,
so it's a little hard, but I think he's still got rooms available and the prices were very reasonable.
That's good.
So
That's good
yeah, if you guys are interested. And he gave me a key too. So nice, secure location.
That's cool.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
totally.
just shamelessly plugging a guy you already know.
That's good to know though.
Yeah.
Good to have those places in mind.
Yeah, I'm thinking about not to put too much on myself too quickly, but I have all this nice recording gear and I do have a nice camera too. And I've considered offering up my gear, like, hey, bands in the area, if you want to record something, like try and put something together. I used to make YouTube videos. They're a very different style, but it would be so much fun to make
Should
music
link those
videos.
in the description.
Yeah.
So many
God.
links.
They're terrible.
If you're
They-
gonna link
way.
my old ass EP, you better link those videos.
Dude, link
on there.
everything.
Link it all.
I almost forgot about the old ass
Oh,
EP.
fuck.
I got shut
Oh.
down.
It's your own fault now.
Yet again.
Yeah, but I think that might be a lot of fun to do music videos with different bands around. Because I've seen like recordings, but I haven't seen a whole lot of videos out of the area. So, and I have a place right in the guardhouse, so there's all sorts of bands coming in and out. So, yeah, I mean,
That'd be awesome.
if you guys are interested,
Definitely.
That'd be sweet.
at some point, we'll see. We'll
A
collaborate.
lot
in
of
the
creative
future.
ideas that could come up with them. That's like a whole other ball game, I think.
Yeah, the business side of
I
the
know.
music industry, where you're not just making the music. Which it's funny for me because I played bass my whole life. I've played guitar. I've been in different bands. I really want to get in another band eventually here, but now I have a podcast to deal with. It would be really awesome though to just try and like bring that other side, because bands are busy. You guys are busy doing the music. You're busy doing the practicing and the moving of the gear, and you don't have time to take pictures. You don't have time to make videos. That stuff's just not the priority. You want to sound good. That's number one. So it'd be fun to help people out. And that's just me randomly talking out loud. So we're
That'd be
veering
great.
down,
Good ideas, though.
veering down
That's
at the end of the
cool.
podcast. All right. I don't think I have anything else. Any last words?
Lake waves.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lake waves. If I can say one thing is keep supporting. If you're a local in Burlington, support your local acts, and support your local talent that's here, because there's so much of it, and diversify the sound that you're listening to, and be appreciative of what is out there, because there's a lot out there. And if you're also someone that's creative, like whatever you do, whether it be in a larger band, whether it's like playing guitar on the street, like this is a really welcoming community, and keep up with it, and you will always be welcomed here. And that is all.
I think, as we've kind of talked throughout this whole thing too, I mean, like the Burlington scene is so great, and I just really encourage anybody to kind of get into it and just reach out to people. Everybody's so supportive, and also like a push for, all of the female fronted bands out there,
That's a whole other tangent we could go
on. But yeah, I mean, just everybody keep doing what you're doing, and really don't be afraid to put yourselves out there.
Yep, I think that's a great message to end on.
Cool.
Thank you all.
Thank you
so
for
much
us.
for being on the show.
Thank you.
So much fun.
Thank you. Yay. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms.
Mommy made me mash my
Just keep going. That's a podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Head over to burlingtontalks.com to see the show notes page. There'll be links to anything we talked about and more info about the podcast itself. You will also be able to find transcripts on each show notes page for the episodes. Contact me by sending an email to becca@burlingtontalks.com. That's Becca, Becca. Find me on Facebook at Burlington Talks. Please subscribe to the podcast and share it with your friends and family who live in the area and who you think would be interested. Thanks again for listening, and that's what's new in the 802.